Karibu mtazamaji katika kipindi cha Twende Shambani. Wiki hii tuko katika kaunti ya Machakos, kaunti ya maendeleo chapchap. Maendeleo ambayo hapa Kamudhanga Fish Farm ni dhahiri shahiri. Teknolojia ya kisasa isiyo na upinzani inatumika hapa kutaga mayai ya samaki, kuyaagua na kuyalea hadi kufikia samaki wa nusu kilo. Patrick Mundia anatueleza jinsi teknolojia hii inavyotumika shambani hapa.
Kamudhanga Fish Farm is a fish farm that does recirculatory aquaculture system. There are different ways you can rear fish. You can do pond culturing, you can do cage culturing, and also you can do recirculatory aquaculture system. So we do recirculatory aquaculture system. Recirculatory aquaculture system is a system where you use a very minimum piece of land to grow a lot of fish using minimum resources. In this case, water. We are located at Machakos town constituency. And in Machakos, as you all know, is a region where there's not much water. So we use borehole water, and through that system we use very minimum amount of water to grow a lot of fish. Because our production capacity, we are producing 100 tons of fish per year. And in the future we are targeting to produce 300 tons of fish.
Sote tunapenda mlo wa samaki, haswa ndugu zetu kutoka pande za magharibi. Sasa leo tutajifunza jinsi safari ya mlo huu huwa, tukianzia toka yai la samaki. Hapa Kamudhanga shamba limegawanywa mara 4. Tutaanza pale mwanzo, chumba kiitwacho Hatchery. Tumfuate Patrick.
This is our hatchery, and next to the hatchery we have a heating system, which is very important. The fish need a lot of need good temperatures, first for them to grow and also to reproduce. In there we have 2 tanks where we have our parent fish, and for tilapia to reproduce they need temperatures above 24 degrees. So with temperature below that they cannot reproduce. So we have different ways which we use to heat our water. One, we have a very good technology. These are known as solar water panels, where we pump water through them. They are black surfaces with depressions, and they are exposed to direct sunlight. So through that, as the water flows through them, the water absorbs a lot of heat from one panel to the other. And as you can see, we have 4 rows. So 2 row per tank, 2 row per tank. So by the time the water goes through the 2 row, we have good temperatures. And this only depend with sunlight. There are those instances where we don't have sunlight. Maybe the day is cloudy, or during our winter. During that period now, we use a Kenyan technology. They are known as kuni boosters. So the kuni booster also works in that principle, where you put in firewood and there's a very thin layer of water that is formed, which is warmed, and the water goes back into the tank when it have good temperatures. So we monitor the temperatures for that purpose of reproduction.
Hapa ndipo samaki wanazalishwa kwa kuyaagua mayai, na jambo la muhimu zaidi ni usafi. Tunavaje kama kiatu? Kama socks?
Kama kiatu, karaba shoes
nje, ndio
hivyo ya bas. Exactly. This is our hatchery. Basically what happens in the hatchery, we get fish eggs, we incubate them. Then we rear the hatchlings until they get to 1 gram. And then we can either sell the 1 gram fingerlings or take them to the other part of the farm. So the whole process starts in such a tank. This, we call them the broodstock tanks. We have 2 kinds of broodstock tanks at Kamudhanga Fish Farm. We have indoor broodstock tanks and outdoor broodstock tanks. So what you are looking at is an indoor broodstock tank. So what happens in the tank, we put our parent fish, the best fish that we have, so that we can get quality fingerlings. We do a very careful selection to select the best males and the best females, so that we can get the best or the good quality fingerlings. So we put them in the ratio of 1:2. For example, in this tank we call it Hatchery Tank 1, Broodstock Hatchery Tank 1, where we have 150 males and we have 150 broodstock, which comprises of 50 males and 100 females in the ratio of 1:2. So what happens, the males are territorial, they mark territory within the tank, and within each territory there is a nest where they breed in. So when they are ready to breed, they change their color. They become pinkish or reddish. They are very beautiful. So we say in fish society, males do the makeups. As you can see them, they are very beautiful. So they change their color to be attractive so that they can attract the females. So the female will come, then the male will show the female the nest. The female will get into the nest, lay eggs, then the male will follow, fertilize the eggs externally. After fertilize, then the female will pick the eggs and incubate them in her mouth. So what we do, we come and pick the eggs from the mothers, because they incubate them in their mouths. So we have a very regular interval that ensures that most of the females have eggs in their mouth. We collect the eggs and we incubate them ourselves. It's usually a very interesting process. And we have noticed that one female can give us around 300 pieces of eggs.
Sayansi kweli inarahisisha ukulima pakubwa. Basi ikiwa kila samaki jike kati ya hawa 100 kwa kila bomba anataga mayai takriban 300, basi bila shaka biashara hapa ni bomba. Na iwapo tayari umestaajabu, hebu sikiza jinsi teknolojia inavyotumika hapa Kamuthanga kuagua mayai ya kiume peke yake.
One thing that's very critical to note in this stage is that we are recommended to sell to farmers male fish only. Why? Because in tilapia, when you stock males and females, they are aggressive breeders. They take a lot of their energy in reproduction. So they end up reproducing in your tank and you have an overpopulated or overstocked setup. And in that case, when you have a high stocking density, the fish don't grow. So for us, there are ways that we have put in place to ensure that we get the male fish only. Initially, we used to do sex reversal. Sex reversal is where you convert the sex of the fish. They were born female, but you convert their sex to become males. We used to do this. It's a conventional way of doing it. A lot of hatcheries are doing it here in Kenya, but it has its own challenges. And that's why we moved away from the sex reversal. So it is known when a fish is less than 8 days old, the sex of the fish is not determined. The fish is neither male nor female. So they normally have a sac containing the hormone, sex-determining hormone, in their digestive tract. So as they are going to move into the 8th day, the sacs open and the content of the sac gets into the body. So what we used to do is to attach a male hormone on the feed of the fish, and you start to feed them from day 5. So they get the synthetic hormone and they convert. But that has a lot of challenges. One, it's not a good thing for our system because of the accumulation of the hormone within your system. Two, the hormone have an effect to the immune of the fish. The test has been done and it's proven it have a big effect on the immunity of the fish. The other thing, it has some environmental impact. We have chosen to move away from that, and we are doing a very high technology here at Kamuthanga. We are doing the YY technology. YY technology is where you have super males. These are fish that don't have X chromosome with them. When they breed with a normal female that is XX, all the young ones are XY, 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 which is 99.999% accurate. So what happens when we want to harvest the fish? We raise the net and we push all the fish to one end and we open the mouth of every fish. We assume that all of them are females and we have to open the mouth of every fish to check if they are eggs. Yeah, yeah. So that's what happens here. We get the eggs now and we take them to the incubation system.
Kweli Patrick amebobea katika sayansi ya ufugaji huu, na baada ya mapumziko yasiyokuwa marefu atatueleza ni nini kinachofuata baada ya kuvuna mayai toka kwa samaki jike hadi kufikia incubator. Hapa Kamudhanga, kila hatua ni kwa hakika, hakuna kubahatisha. Karibu tena mtazamaji hapa Kamudhanga Fish Farm. Kabla ya mapumziko, Patrick alitueleza jinsi wanavyotumia teknolojia na samaki jike kuyataga mayai. Na sasa mchakato ufuatao unaitwa incubation. Mchakato wa siku 7 unaoishia kwa samaki wadogo wa takriban gramu 1 ambao pia kivyao wako tayari kwa soko.
This is the incubation system. The system is made up of 3 units where you have the jars, the hatchling troughs, and the sedimentation unit. These are known as McDonald's jars. They are very efficient when it comes to fish egg incubation. So they must achieve the conditions that the mother provides in the mouth for them to be efficient. 2 conditions that the mother looks at before she breeds. One, she must be in a good environment, more so the temperatures. They can never reproduce when the temperatures are below 24 degrees. That's very important for them. And because it's natural, it's instinct that you need to reproduce when you believe your young ones will survive. So the temperatures is very important, and that's why we heat our waters for the brooders using the solar heaters and the kuni boosters to make sure that we attain those temperatures. The other thing, the eggs must be properly nourished. This means they must get good oxygen. That's why she must keep on rotating them in her mouth, because when they clamp on one side, they don't have the ability to swim, to go and find extra resources. So the mother takes that responsibility of rotating them and sucking new water through the operculum so that the eggs can get proper nourishment. And so the artificial incubation system has also achieved those 2 characteristics. So when you look at the jars, you can see the eggs are rotating. So that's the nourishment. They are exposed to fresh new water that is coming in continuously from the pumping rate in the sedimentation unit. The other thing, we heat the water. We have a water heater in each sedimentation unit. We call them the submersible heaters. Yeah. So this ensures that we have the required temperature for hatching. So in each system, you have to have that. So after you put in your eggs, depending on the stage of the eggs, we normally grade the eggs. There are normally 4 stages of eggs. So stage 1, the egg has not started forming. You can't see the eyes, you can't see the tail of the fish. It's just a round egg. That's the stage 1. So you have to put the eggs in different stages. In the 4 stages, stage 2, you can now see the eye spots. Stage 3, you can see the eye spot and the tail. And then stage 4, those are free swimming fries. We call them fries, not fingerlings. So when we grade them like that, this ensures that we get fish of a certain stage per cycle. So this ensures that we have fish growing at the same rate. The eggs will stay there 5 days, they will hatch. After hatching, we call them swim-ups. They will swim on the top side of the jar, like in this jar. As they swim on the top side of the jar, they are carried by the current, the water current, into the troughs. And you can see in the troughs there are a lot of them. So in the troughs, we give them 2 days to completely feed on the egg yolk. The egg yolk is the food reserved from their parents. So when they are through with the egg yolk, that tells you that they are ready to get food supplement. So we carry them with the troughs to the next system when they are through with their with the egg yolk.
Teknolojia katika ukulima huu inazidi kustaajabisha katika kila kitengo. Kufikia sasa, mayai yameagua na samaki hawa wadogo wana siku 7. Wako tayari kuanza kuishi kivyao bila kutegemea yeyote.
After 7 days in the incubation, we bring them into this system. These are recirculatory systems. The efficiency of this system is gauged by its ability to remove all the waste from the fish. So the fish stays here for 40 days. From the egg size to 1 gram, they stay for 40 days. During that period, there are routine activities that we take into consideration. One, the grading. We grade the fish regularly after every 10 days to make sure that we remove the fast-growing fish and the slow-growing fish, so that you can have a uniform class of fish growing at the same rate. The other thing we do is the maintenance of the system, which we have some routine activities. Some are daily, others are weekly, to make sure that the systems runs at optimum conditions. So it's also important to know that we still warm the water at this stage to make sure that, because growth is directly proportional to temperature, to make sure that fish grows at that high rate.
Kama Patrick alivyotuarifu hapo awali, usafi hapa ni jambo la muhimu zaidi. Kwa mfano, kila bomba hapa lina samaki wadogo takriban 18,000. Pia Patrick anatujulisha gharama kubwa ni kwa lishe, kwa kuwa hapa ndipo ubora wa samaki huanza kuwekwa kwenye mizani.
In a recirculatory system, there is tendency of accumulation of this waste. A tank like this can carry around 18,000 fries, and imagine each fry releasing its waste. The dissolved waste of fish is ammonia. So ammonia is very toxic to fish. So when you have 18,000, each one of releasing its waste, each one releasing ammonia, so within time there is a high accumulation of this ammonia, which can lead to high mortality rate in this tank. So that's why it's very important for you to remove the water, pass them through the filters, like through this area. This is a trickle tower. It hosts bacteria, the bacteria that converts the ammonia into nitrate. They are natural alkaline bacteria. So they will convert the ammonia into nitrate, and the water will trickle down, and it will be aerated back to the fish, and fish get a healthy environment for growth. The other thing is that we do here is the feeding activity is very important. 70% of our cost of production is the feed. So we must be very serious with how we feed the fish, the feeding process itself. So we use a very high quality fish feed. We import this fish feed from France. It is 48% crude protein, and we feed the fish hourly for 16 hours. 8 hours during the day and 8 hours at night. So through that, we have a regular feeding frequency where we feed the fish after every hour. After every hour, when the hour clocks, we feed them, and we have an interval of 4 hours for the 2 feeding times. Yeah, between the night, and also some 4 hours early in the morning and some 4 hours in the evening, for the fish to digest the feed that they have been eating during the day or during the night. Yeah. The other thing, we train our fish on feeding process by having a regular feeding time. We also train them on a feeding area. This is their feeding area. We don't just pour the feed all over a feeding area. Then we train them, when they see you, it's feeding time. So they know humans are friendly. So whenever they see you, they come running to you and you feed them. The other thing, we train them, we use one type of food from one company and one color of food. They're visionary feeder. They feed by seeing. So whenever they see brown particles, they know that's feed throughout their lifespan in the farm. So through those processes, it enables us to make sure that every feed that we pour in is eaten. Yeah.
Kufikia sasa, Patrick bado anawaita samaki hawa fry na wala sio fingerling kama tulivyofunzwa shuleni. Anatueleza ni kwa nini, na pia anatueleza bei ya kila fry kulingana na ubora na uzito wake.
We have a stocking rate schedule depending on the size of the fry. That determines the amount of fry you'll put in one tank. Yeah. So we just carry them, we do an average weight, then we do a total weight and know the amount of fish that we can stock in a particular tank. We are not calling them fingerlings because a fingerling is any fish that is the size of your fingers. That's a fingerling. Below the size of your fingers, we have, so we start with the eggs. After eggs, you have hatchlings, then fries, then fingerlings, post-fingerlings, and then they grow out. Sales begins at this point after 40 days, and they are 1 gram, and we sell each at 10 shillings. So the fingerlings that you get from Kamodanga, one, their ratio of males is high, 99%. The other thing, they are fish, because of the grading process, they are fish that grows at the same rate, which is something that most farmers consider. Fish growing at the same rate? Yeah, they grow at a uniform rate. So you get very good quality fingerlings from the farm, and then we sell you a bigger size. The bigger the fish, the higher the rate of survival.
Natumai umejifunza mengi kufikia sasa. Tuna mengi zaidi ya kuzungumzia kuhusiana na teknolojia hii ya Kamodanga Fish Farm kwa ufugaji wao. Patrick atazidi kutuelimisha wiki ijayo kwa makala ya pili. Pia nitakufahamisha kuhusu ukarimu wake Bwana Tony, mwanzilishi na mmiliki wa mradi huu. Tukutane tena hapa Kamodanga Fish Farm wiki ijayo.